I do recall the plot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zombies to Zoinks, the show where we talk about everything from living in a bell tower, being all cool, to going down the streets in the Festival of Fools. This is Stefan.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Trask.
Let's talk nerdy. Okay,
Well done.
I thank
liked
you.
That intro.
I appreciate it.
I feel like you made that up on the fly.
I did. I just
But it was good.
Flew right out of there. Now listen. So we're going to be talking today about Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yay!
And
It's a musical that should have gone to Broadway.
yeah, and I think there's a lot of discussion surrounding the piece itself, as far as like where we're gonna see it in the future, kind of the way that our perspectives may have changed on it today versus when it came out, and just kind of the way, I don't know, I think the way that it proves itself to be timeless in its message and in its music, and it's one of
fantastic.
it's one of my favorite Disney films of all time.
Sorry, I was gonna say it's Alan Menken has said that it's his best work.
Magnum opus. Gorgeous pieces of music too. And it just plays well in just about every medium that I think you could bring it to, that I see people doing with it. And it makes me excited, fingers crossed, for them to do the film right. So, with that being said...
did they confirm a live-action film?
They confirmed it's greenlit. They confirmed that it's going to happen. They haven't announced anything about casting or what have you. But you know, good heavens! That's one of the things I do want to talk about in trailer chat, and also as well as like the stage production of it and the differences between the story elements and also the book itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff.
Dr. Hugo.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm gonna open though with a little bit of an addendum, given that currently we're in a very tumultuous time right now, and there is a lot of really powerful political discourse happening, and a lot of beautiful movements coming out,
and very important.
Yeah, and so by no means do I want to detract from that conversation in that regard.
Yeah.
And especially talking about any piece right now, we felt we all wanted to do something that we could speak on, that we could see personal connection with, as well as being able to elaborate and add to the discussion. The reason why I want to bring this up, though, guys, is in Hunchback, one of our prominent characters is a person of color. Esmeralda herself is referenced throughout the piece numerous times. I would say, I have to watch it again, but I'd say majority by Frollo in a very negative connotation as a gypsy. And
and as that group in a whole is very,
all
undermined and demeaned.
Yes. And this also goes back to as far as I know, from the bit of research that I've been able to do, goes back to Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame as well. Now, the term itself is sort of a replacement, becomes a replacement for describing the Romani people, and it ended up encapsulating people that came from more places than just Egypt, or where the term was stripped from.
Yeah.
And so, in a sense, it is does detract, I think, from that cultural heritage, and can be used in a very negative slur connotation. So I don't want it to be that we're perpetualizing that, or like keeping that aspect of it going, but to bring that to a light that we understand.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, it's like, if we're describing if we're saying the word gypsy or talking about it, we're doing this strictly in the context of the film and book and how that's described. Like, we're not calling any of these characters this term, or
yeah. And also to acknowledge as well that something that the film does itself that I think I'm curious to see if Disney will play the themes harder in a film than they could in the original cartoon, and we'll talk about that too, about the but meaning that the word itself has also developed itself its own it romanticizes the image of poverty and sexualization, right? And so we see those themes heavy because that's all Frollo does with Esmeralda. And I think that even then they were aware of that. I'm certain that the writers were, especially in translating that piece. But just to acknowledge that.
Yeah. What year did this come out again? It was like 93.
I thought it was 96. Could be
Oh,
93.
it is. It's one of the later ones. It's after Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast.
1996, June 19th, 1996. Yeah.
I was 1.
Wow. Yeah, me too. Man, wow. That puts it in perspective.
I was almost 5.
Well, I mean, so to be fair though, we have come a very long way in 24, 25 years. So.
Yeah.
Even still. But yeah, so yes, we just want to have this discussion to start it off, because it does have the narrative weighs heavily into those themes, and also like we don't want to offend anybody. So yeah, we want to have an open conversation about it all.
A disclaimer that we may be saying the word gypsy as a character description.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah. But feel free though, guys, if you want to comment or send in, your side of things. This is, discussion's always important, and voices need to be heard. So, okay, now we're gonna jump into our sorting session. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to split apart some of the most major characters here, and I'm really, really curious to see, because I've got a lot of conflicting opinions. Let's just start with Quasimodo, because I'm not 100% certain where I want to put him. I have ideas, but I want to hear you guys first.
Hey, which character did you say, Stefan?
Quasimodo. I like to skip out. I like to skip out on the tracks, so you guys have to guess.
Yes. So YouTube will sound fine. Live, maybe not so much. All right, Quasimodo. Trask, do you want to start? I kind of took over last time, and I felt bad, so I'm going to try and sit back a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. Quasimodo is to me just the definition of loyalty and kindness. Going out of his way to help people that he doesn't even know. He's very much the kind of fall in line when told to do so. Yes, he questions things, which is a great trait. Ultimately gets him in a little bit of trouble, but he talks about the festivals and wanting to make friends and things like that. Such a defining characteristic. I think he's a Hufflepuff.
Right, I was gonna say Hufflepuff.
Yeah. I think that he's kind of your textbook Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Well, he and also we get to see it because his not just with I think going into the separation between personality and characteristic or like intention. He's just there to help people, and it's like I think Heaven's Light is probably the best look into Heaven's Light and Out There, and not only just because those are like his main songs, but it's those moments of solidarity. Like he's by himself with those. The first one saying his yearning to go out among the people. Like what is he saying to do? He's not saying that he wants to go and be the coolest cat around. He says he just wants to be with other people. He wants to be part of a community.
Yeah.
And then Heaven's Light saying where finally someone, because he's been secluded for so long, finally someone has shown him kindness that isn't just, oh, the fact that I'm feeding is me being kind. It's like, no, you're my caretaker. You should be doing this regardless.
He's got a little bit of Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Esmeralda is kind of, and so it's like, oh, pretty girl, I'm gonna be like, okay, but it's like this is his first time that anyone's like shown him real true kindness, which I think plays into his inherent sense of loyalty, friendship, kindness, and willingness to help.
Not only that, but just his outward kindness towards anything and everything. You know, with the little bird talking about, you know, I'd pick today to be the day to fly if I were you. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so encouraging about everything, even to just this tiny little bird. You know, he is warm-hearted to the core.
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say, you know, don't forget that song that the statues sing, the most important song in the entire movie. I don't even remember what it's called.
I'm drawing a blank on it right now. So.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it.
It's that part that I just had to omit from my brain. It's my absolute least favorite.
What's the name of that song? I'm trying to, like, I picture it in my head, like, what's
here? Hold on.
It's like the whole score is like, I was trying to make a joke. The whole score is so great except for like
Except
except for that song. Like it's funny because everyone always says like, oh, Hunchback is like so amazing, and the score is great. Like, it's timeless. You know,
a guy like you,
right? It's like nobody like.
Yeah.
It's arguably like one of the most like forgettable like Disney songs. So, which is why I like to bring it up.
I couldn't remember it, and Stefan had openly admitted that he was trying to omit it.
Yeah, yes. I'm like, oh, that's right, they did do that. Yeah.
So, anyway, I was trying to be like, yeah, think about like his statue friends, which is just a personification of his desire to have friends. Like those, like to be honest, those, like, I hope we all understand. Those statues are not magic or alive. Those are literally his like
his imagination,
his imaginary friends. Like, those are not magic statues. Yeah. That whole song is like him pretending. So that's those like. Anyway, those are his subconscious thoughts about himself.
And yet they still had to try to give him a sidekick song, though. That's the thing. And like that is their In Summer. That is their, you know, like Phil's song from Hercules. Like that's their thing, but it just doesn't.
Pour the wine and cut the cheese.
No, stop.
Get it?
Yeah.
Bringing it back, Stefan, how do you feel about him as a Hufflepuff?
No, I think Hufflepuff is truly his core, and that's where I was teetering on the edge because I was trying to find another way to help explain if there was any tendencies for like Ravenclaw. Yeah. You know, I know that he showcased a lot of like cleverness and artistic nature, but I don't think it's truly enough to warrant that classification. Like his true core is finding people in genuine connection and bringing them together, and that even that loyalty in the midst of abuse is something that I feel a Hufflepuff could fall into, truly.
Yeah.
So
also, I don't think we said this. We're talking about the Disney film specifically, not any of the other. Because I was like, oh, he's going to talk about Phoebus. Oh, let's not talk about Book Phoebus.
See, and I don't know enough about Book Phoebus, actually. I'm very curious what your takes on it.
I'm pretty sure he like rapes Esmeralda.
Oh,
yeah, I could see it. I could see that happening. See, that's why I really would love to read the original Hunchback, because when it comes to
Esmeralda and Quasimodo die.
Yeah, I know that.
We'll go into that for trailer chat.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry. Yeah,
No, you're good.
So anyway, we're talking about specifically about
I'll write it down.
The Disney versions of these.
The Disney version.
We're talking.
Yeah, the still dark but not as dark version. Which I think more people are going to be familiar with. But yes, and that's
Jimmy. What's your favorite Disney song? Hellfire.
Well, I'm going to talk about that too. Okay. Bring us to we're just gonna. Is it okay if we just all just not do any of the gargoyles? Yes, we're good.
Yeah,
we're not doing any gargoyles.
I don't remember enough about them individually to categorize them.
Come on, Quasimodo.
I kind of remember what they look like.
It's Victor, Hugo, and
There's
Laverne.
Grandmother Willow in stone, and
you have the
and Kronk.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you have Sam Eagle, like
Yes,
yes, and then you have the guy from Seinfeld who.
I don't remember the third one. I remember the old lady and the muscly dude.
He sings "Marry Me a Little," right? He's a Broadway person.
Oh gosh,
guys,
I'm sorry.
What?
Nope, slipping
to the internet.
I'm slipping on that one.
Yeah, I don't
really.
Know.
Yeah,
I just need to try and remember what they look. I'm just gonna look up what they look like. That's the big thing for me right now.
From the I think it's from The Rink. The "Marry Me a Little." Really? I guess I am the only one who has a degree in musical theater.
Oh, okay. The big, like, heavy looking.
Is that a Sondheim thing?
Cross between Pumbaa and Phil.
Pumbaa.
Okay,
I think
yes.
that's kind of what
And-
he looks like.
That's actually one of the draws people made, and according to the commentary in the DVD, he's not Pumbaa. Is what they said. He's based off of a real. I think they all are, but he for sure is based off of an actual gargoyle that is on Notre Dame.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So no gargoyles.
So no gargoyles.
No.
Because the reason is because the gargoyles are not real. They are a personification.
Therefore, they're all Hufflepuffs.
They're all Hufflepuffs because
Yes.
they're all Quasimodo.
Yeah, they're extensions of him.
They aren't real.
We
so
said we weren't going to do it. We did it anyway.
Now, okay, let's jump on the other side of the fence here. Let's do Frollo.
What? Never mind.
that's fine.
No, you have to do your Joey New York voice for any time you.
Never mind.
It's
Anytime we
me,
quote
Judge.
something.
Get out, you
Frollo.
idiot! I'll find her. I'll find her if I have to burn down all of Paris with my red eyes black dragon. Yeah. Okay. So I want to be like, he's Slytherin because all he wants to. Well, so yeah, he's warped and twisted by his own mind and for what he wants to do. However, like. I don't want to put him in Slytherin because one, he's a bad guy, but like the only selfish thing that he really does is like manipulate the situation so he can be with Esmeralda. But he doesn't like everything isn't. I'm trying to think, like to be an archdeacon, he like would have had to have like
some redeemable qualities. I mean, he definitely. I mean,
I was gonna say like he we won't get into that.
I won't get into it.
Yeah, we won't, not here.
Yeah.
I was gonna say no, but like we only see him through Quasimodo's perspective. I'm not trying to make him redeemable, but I don't know if he's a Slytherin. That's what I'm trying to say. I almost want to say
what would your toss-up be? Slytherin and
Ravenclaw.
Raven. Okay, that's what I was gonna say too. I think he has a lot of tendencies of both.
like you can be a douche and you can be a Ravenclaw.
Yeah. And you can be smart and
yeah,
yeah.
and be a Jigglypuff.
I think he has the intelligence aspect of being able to put all of these plans together.
Yeah.
He's putting together a giant manipulative puzzle is kind of how it is everything kind of needs to fall in place in order to make his plan work, but it's still what's the word I'm looking for? Great podcast content. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. Ill-intentioned.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ill-willed plan. I don't want to say it's a bad plan because it's structured. He has his idea for it.
Wicked plan.
Yeah, he has his malicious. That's the word I'm looking for. He has a malicious plan that takes the intelligence of a Ravenclaw to put together.
Yeah.
And
he
so
can be.
I could make an argument.
He's
for
a
both.
selfish, conniving, wicked Ravenclaw. Not calling Ravenclaws selfish and conniving, but yes. So that's where I stand.
Yeah.
Stefan.
Yeah, I think yes, because I would agree that his single selfish motivator is would you say
lust.
though? Would you say though that wins out over his character? Like it dominates his character by the end of it because he sets. That's the other question: does he set fire to Paris because of that, or because of everything he believes? Right.
I think it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, well, this is gonna happen, and I also get the girl quotation marks,
or she dies.
I don't even like saying that phrase like with this implication. But,
no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this then in regards to him being Ravenclaw. Yeah. That his whole thing is fighting that selfish tendency or that nature. He does it in the absolute worst way possible. Like there is no, redeeming nature to him in that respect, but he's trying to absolve himself of what he finds to be the sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just willing to kill her in order to make it so that he can be clean again and pure, because he truly, I think, hates himself for that.
He does. I'm trying to think of the lyrics to Hellfire, because it's almost like is he? It's that weird line where it's like he's believing his own BS, like he's like gaslighting himself, like trying to be like saying she will be mine or she will burn, saying he's saying like, oh, if you will be my, I want to say bride. I don't even know if he wants to. They don't really say exactly, but anyway, it's like if I can get with her, I can.
You'll
make
be
her
mine.
Yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can make her pure of heart again because as Frollo would say, he believes gypsies are evil and ruining Paris.
Yeah, so he's trying to purify her or kill her in the process.
Yeah,
and he's basically
he's
praying to Maria. Yeah, Ave Maria, or doing the whole, he's
I am a righteous man.
Yeah, he's trying to ask for forgiveness and then gives it to himself in the process of singing this, where he's like, here's how I'll make it right. Like, one of these two outcomes I'll be fine either way, is kind of what it feels like. So, yeah, I'll keep him as a Ravenclaw. I don't think I can take him into the realm of Slytherin, truly. Now, let's talk Esmeralda while we're here.
I would say she's a Slytherin.
Interesting.
Esmeralda?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I mean, her whole thing is being cunning and being deceitful, and she kind of has that look this way while I do something else, and she's very determined about making the change and standing up for what she believes in.
But but she's doing that for her people. I feel like I see her more of a Gryffindor, but I'm curious. Continue.
Okay, well, just so standing up for her people is inherently different because it's for the greater good rather than individual. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying is she standing up for her people for self-preservation, or because she thinks that's what she thinks is right?
I would say both.
Yeah,
I don't see her doing it as for self-preservation. I see like she's putting herself in danger a lot in order to for her people.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that as a Gryffindor trait.
Yeah.
I certainly don't think Esmeralda's afraid to die. Truly, I think she's willing to sacrifice herself for the right thing. Is how she comes across to me.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so I think maybe I just took the cunning aspect. I personally would lean more towards Slytherin still, but I can definitely see a lot of those Gryffindor traits in her.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Give me Daniel. give me your side, Daniel, and then I'll try and jump in how because I'm in between the two.
No, so all I was going to say is I don't see her actions are done for her own self-gain or self-preservation. And she's also worried about Quasimodo, when they she stands up for him in the Festival of Fools and everything. She didn't have to do that. That wasn't advantageous to her for her to stand up and call herself, be like, hey, this is bad, don't do that. That's kind of going into the courageous, brave, loyal, those aspects of which are more Gryffindor. Okay. If it was let's say one of her own people there getting tied down, she would say, no, this is I should be this could have been me, and don't do this to my people. That's more again more advantageous to herself, and I don't think she does that, and I don't really see too many options where she does, which is why I personally don't see her as a Slytherin.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah, I think
what are your thoughts, Stefan?
My biggest question is, can it be that a Slytherin fight for more than just themselves. And like, I'm just like, you know, if a Slytherin had a whole homeroom of Hufflepuffs that they loved, would they not defend them, is what I think of, you know, and would they not, is that it's not in itself its own self-preservation. I don't know if Esmeralda cares about all of Paris or just her people and the outcasts, like the poverty-stricken, the beaten down, you know, because I'm not sure what she thinks of the rest of the world, you know.
I think the I'm trying to think of the lyrics of "God Help the Outcasts." You know, it's more about like equality. That's what I see it for. She's fighting for equality for her people. Okay. So that's why I'm trying to think. God help the outcasts. Who won't have? So she's trying to be a voice for the voiceless.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, Trask. It's feeling more Gryffindor to me. I do see it.
It's okay.
I do see
This
it.
is all subjective, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, but I like
I'm
that,
sorry if there's anyone out there, but Esmeralda, the Disney character, is not a real person.
No.
Sorry.
Huh?
No.
I said
but
Esmeralda.
We do. What? The cartoon character is not, no, but her ideals certainly are very real.
Yes. Absolutely.
And
that's not what I was trying to say.
Oh, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, man. But okay, so we got Esmeralda down. So let's just jump to our last character here, then, that I can think of off the top of my head. That's really defined is Phoebus. Our lovely. No, we don't need
Maximus.
to do Achilles.
Hugh.
It's not Maximus.
No, it's not Maximus. Why did I say that? Flynn Rider.
You just combined. You just combined too much.
What's his name?
I don't
Achilles.
Achilles. That's what that was the joke. That's the why would it be
Achilles.
He says
heel.
Get it? Achilles heel. Ha ha ha.
Yes.
Achilles. That's his.
So
Achilles.
yeah. What do we think of Phoebus?
Yeah.
Oh, you can go first.
I feel like I'm not remembering enough about Phoebus right now to really make a definitive answer. So my thoughts are from what I remember, he's super level-headed. He's a little oblivious, I would say. Maybe, I don't want to say naive, but he's just kind of like, oh, we're doing this now. Okay. At least what I'm remembering of him. I don't remember anything like bad happening, but I also don't remember anything super character trait worthy coming. So I guess Gryffindor, but I don't really know. Somebody who might be more familiar can weigh in.
Yeah. Okay. Stefan, I wanted to make sure that this is right. He left the army because he didn't like what they were doing, right?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. That was
that's
his
the biggest
rationale.
thing.
His biggest rationale was in the military's treatment, or the guards' treatment of the people, and specifically the like Esmeralda and them.
Well, I was gonna say before, like prior to the film, the reason why he's there as the new captain of the guard is because he left the military because he didn't like what was going on.
Ew. Oh, that's right. Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't know if I'm making that up or if I'm taking a different character. I believe. Can you while I'm talking? Can someone
Let me see if I can
fact check?
Yeah.
Fact check comes later in the show.
Okay. So I believe that he, because I want to say that there's a scene when he first meets Fuse meets Frollo that he's like, you know, why is the new captain of the guard wanting to do this if you should be following orders and not, you know, whatever. And it's you should be following orders. So I was going to say it's either Gryffindor or Slytherin from me, and it kind of comes down to what these things are, because he does stand up for people, but is he doing it because of because I was going to say, like, if he left the army or the military or the larger guard or something like that, or he was like a I don't know, like a general or something like that, what Paris's army is back in this time, but if he left, was it, why didn't he, I would see a Gryffindor wanting to try and change what is happening, and a Slytherin leaving because he doesn't like what's happening.
Okay, so what I just found on a fandom site, mind you, Disney Wiki is
Yeah, I've been looking through it as well.
he's a gallant war hero, war veteran summoned by Frollo to assist in the eradication of the gypsies.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Was it on fandom.com?
No, this is
Disney.fandom.com is what I saw.
Okay, that if it's like the wiki for it, it's usually pretty accurate.
I mean it's set up like
that.
a full.
Yes. That website's pretty accurate.
The other thing that I'm seeing is personality wise, it says that he's the only one that's clever enough to really see through Esmeralda's disguises, as well as discover that Frollo's ideals for justice are unethical and twisted, kind of corruption. So he kind of has this clever intelligence about him to be able to see through all of that stuff. So maybe the naivety that I was remembering is different, because maybe he was just quiet about being like, oh, I kind of see what's going on here. You guys are who's all sipping the Kool-Aid still,
Yeah.
Whereas he knows not to take a drink.
Yeah.
So.
I think I'm going to put him personally as a Gryffindor that doesn't stand up to, because he does then later. He does. He does want to help people. I'm going to put him as a Gryffindor.
I could agree.
Disney
to that, yeah.
Disney version of Phoebus.
That's where I'm gonna settle him as well. Yeah, okay. It makes sense to me because he's a champion of a cause and the people and the defenseless, and that's kind of what he's sworn to do, is to protect the defenseless. His submission to authority, or his compliance with authority and with military, has no forbearance on his innate traits as a person. So it's in a lot of ways he reminds me of Captain America in the MCU, right? It doesn't matter to him who he has to fight, as long as he's doing the right thing. And if that's his own military, he'll do it. He's willing to step out and go, nope, this is not right.
Which, to be fair, he did in Endgame too.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not asking forgiveness, and I'm way past asking permission.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cap has just stepped out. He stepped out of that circle twice, when he needed to. So absolutely, that's what Phoebus reminds me of in this version here. A little bit of Flynn, a little bit of Cap. We got a little bit of combo there going on. So cool. I think that's going to do it for all the characters then. Are we ready to move on to fact check?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm good to go.
All right. Now I was not expecting Daniel to be as knowledgeable about the books. About the book. So, but that's okay. Because I think I have something here that's gonna work. Yeah, I think it's something. I think we're just pulling things out of the seat of our. Okay, so here we go. All right.
Seat of our.
I'm not gonna finish that.
Oh,
Pulling things out of this.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm going for. Okay, first fact. Here we go. Number 1. The film, due to its dark and sexual themes, nearly became the 3rd animated Disney feature film to receive a PG rating from the MPAA in the US since The Black Cauldron and The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that making sense.
All right. Okay. All right. No, we're dipping our toes, guys.
Something's gonna tell me that Nightmare came after Hunchback or something.
No, it didn't.
Is you just changing some dates around.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I do know. I think that's true. I want to say that I knew that fact.
Gotcha. Okay. We got through these.
Nightmare is PG. Black Cauldron is definitely PG. And they both came before, so yeah, everything is lining up right now.
That makes sense.
All right. In the novel, Frollo was actually the archdeacon.
Yep.
The filmmakers decided to change the character to a judge because they felt it would make him more sinister and have him have more control over the city and not be questioned.
Yeah, I already called him an archdeacon. I thought that's what he was.
Yeah.
He's an archdeacon. Yeah. Surprise! He's an archdeacon in the book, the musical, and he's Judge Claude Frollo.
So yes, I'm gonna.
So that's a free.
On this one.
It's a maybe it might be a free one. Might be a free one there. All right. Well, let me tell you about this one here. At one point, the 3 gargoyles were going to all be male and were going to be named Cheney, Loughton, and Quinn, the 3 actors who played Quasimodo in other adaptations of the story.
That's fake.
I'm undecided. I mean, obviously Daniel knows a lot about this. I think that could totally be a thing. Well, let me hear the rest and see if anything more outlandish stands out. So,
Okay, all right.
just trying to play devil's advocate for
That's
some
okay.
of these things.
According to the
This one, it's Frollo's advocate because he's evil.
according to commentary, according to commentary, Kevin Kline, who did the voice of Phoebus, the directors gave Kline a sword so that he would portray the role. In addition, they also named his horse Achilles just because it was funny when they heard him say Achilles' heel.
Well,
I
wait.
feel like there were too many things in that,
Yeah, well, I was curious
and it
because
was like super specific. Like, what does the sword have to do with naming the horse? But if you're gonna pair all of them together, I feel like that's probably just a bunch of true facts put together.
yeah, I that sounds like something you got off of like top 10 Hunchback facts. Like that's something that they would all put together.
To be fair, that's how I did a lot of my dragon stuff last week. Was I watched a 25 fun fact video.
Good.
You're like, I'll take that one. I'll take that one. Yes, that one.
Yeah. This
Okay.
this one. So it's either the last one or this one, but I'm starting to think the last one. Also, I said it too confidently, and I'm gonna stick to it. But watch it like be like
Yeah,
totally
let's
true,
let's
and
hear
I'm
this
gonna
last
look
one.
like a fool. So
Okay, our last one. Michael Eisner considered this his favorite among the Disney films. Originally, he grappled with pushing for keeping at least Quasimodo or Esmeralda dead at the end of the film, but seeing as the film was dark enough, he opted to not take that approach in order to keep everything more family-friendly to have a happier ending.
I could see that Michael Eisner he pushed for a lot of the darker Disney stuff in the 90s, so I could see this. I'd also like I don't have a 100% like I know this is true like or false.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we had alien encounter in Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. Like who thought that
still
was a
upset.
good? Who thought about putting? We have like I don't know if MGM had opened up yet, but I was like, why would you put alien encounter next to like?
In
It was across from the Timekeeper and stuff. Like, that was old Tomorrowland for sure.
Yeah.
Also, Timekeeper. That is my first memory at Disney. The one that like that
Yes.
the giant like robot dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Robin Williams played the Timekeeper.
yeah, I would say I'm gonna say this is probably true.
Yeah.
You know, I know that he pushed for a lot of that darker stuff
If
too.
you're like
so
Walt, this was one of Walt Disney's original concepts was to kill everybody in the. I would be like maybe just the parents because that's what he did. But yeah, I'll say that I'm gonna stick to my gargoyle one.
Okay. Is everybody ready?
I want to play Frollo's advocate and be
Frollo's
different, but after hearing the rest of those, I think I'll probably stick with the same. I'll stick with the gargoyles. as
Okay.
the,
All right. So
the false
we'll start knocking out the ones that you seem really adamant about. The film, of course, due to its dark sexual themes, it nearly was a PG film. It nearly received a PG rating. It would have been the third animated feature film at the time to receive a PG rating. So it would have been Black Cauldron Nightmare and then Hunchback as 3 PG films. So that is true.
Did it
Daniel,
get a PG
you
rating or was it G?
no, it was G. It
Okay.
nearly did. It was very close.
Gotcha.
In the novel, Frollo is actually an archdeacon. You're correct, Daniel. The filmmakers wanted to change that because they wanted to make him a judge so that his actions wouldn't be questioned. He had full control. And also, they didn't want to anger religious groups at the time by portraying a priest as sinister and corrupt. I think nowadays, no, I don't know if Disney would even think about that. I don't know. I'm curious. So, okay. According to the commentary, you guys caught me on that. I put too many things together. Yeah, they gave Kevin Kline a sword. They also just named the horse Achilles just because it was an inside joke and it was funny hearing him say Achilles heel.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just name an Achilles. Why not?
That was true.
Yeah, that's true. So that
Okay.
those things really did happen. Now we are between the two that you were like kind of debating here. So I will tell you this much. It is true that the 3 gargoyles were going to be male, and they were all named after the actors who had portrayed Quasimodo in other adaptations. The actors whose names I may have been mispronouncing: Lon Chaney, Charles Lawton, and Anthony Quinn, I believe. Yes. Oh, however, However, it is not true. It is entirely fabricated that Michael Eisner ever wanted to kill Quasimodo or Esmeralda. It's true that it's his favorite Disney film of all time, but he never. No, that was never his goal. Was to have either of them dead.
So the only reason I was like, no, that's fake to the gargoyle one was because I was like, the 2 male ones are named after Victor Hugo. It's Victor and Hugo, which is the guy who wrote the book. And
yes.
So I was like, why? Like, if someone was like, oh, I know, we have 2, let's name them Victor and Hugo because those like fit those names. Like, I don't see the logic of going from like, oh, let's do the author's name, or doing like, no, let's do the names of all of the actors who played Quasimodo. Like that I don't see that, like, that doesn't make as much sense to me. Like, so that's why I said fake.
I have a question for you guys because I don't know much about the book. Were the gargoyles part of the book?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Or was it something that was created to personify his imagination?
It's to give him a little funny non-human sidekicks that can hop around and
sell merchandise.
And
because there's not much for Hunchback that I know of that was like very child friendly.
Gotcha. I know the ending of the books and theatrical adaptations of it and stuff like that. Which Dan would have loved to have seen.
Well, they have a pretty good black and white movie, like a silent movie that follows it fairly well. I think I can't remember if it's not, but like the special effects and everything that they did for it was really good.
Now let's jump in then to our final thing because we're kind of already getting into it with a bit of trailer chat. There is a lot I think we can discuss here because it's everything from the live action movie that Disney's looking to make now to what we feel on the stage productions of the musical, as well as like I'm most curious to see how much Disney changes because I personally think they should change quite a bit for a live action.
Yeah, no, totally. I was gonna say the reason why, because in my last year in school, I did a directing scene where I was Frollo. So I did like a lot of little research on that.
That's how you got the voice so well.
Oh,
I see.
I didn't. Well, I was. Young.
I haven't heard it in so long, but you've just been doing that voice constantly. So
no. Well, I was young Frollo. So like it was when because in the musical and I believe the book, it kind of it changes the intention. So it's Frollo's brother.
Yep.
Gets a gypsy pregnant. And that's the child, and then I forget what happens to his brother, or they like the brother and his little gypsy girlfriend, like they run away, or they die. I don't remember what exactly, but
that's how Quasimodo.
Yeah, and that's and so he then takes I
shall protect my nephew.
He takes exactly. He's related. So yeah, that's one thing I remember too, and him being related to Quasimodo to me. It just makes Frollo that much more compelling of a villain because it adds a layer of depth to that protection, like to that care. He doesn't just feel guilt because he resulted in the death of Quasimodo's mother, but he's literally like Quasimodo's the only thing he has left to connect to his brother. And if I remember right in the musical, he tried to offer his brother reconciliation, like you can come back to the church, it's okay, I'll forgive you, we'll all forgive you. And his brother's like, nah, I can't do that, man. But take this kid. Like that's what I remember from the opening. I don't know if I'm wrong or right there.
His brother is kind of a like he doesn't want to study or go to class or be a good archdeacon student or whatever he's training to be.
Yeah.
he's going out and he's like partying all night and everything. Like, yeah, Archdeacon school.
We're gonna party like it's 4. The year 4, not the.
Like we're 4
This
years
is why
old.
I don't tell jokes.
Well,
We're gonna party like it's 200 BC.
Well, I was gonna say like I don't think this is year 4, or is that from something?
I don't know. I'm
is like
trying to be.
Isn't this is
I don't know what year.
1400?
1400s. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna party like it's 1499.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I want to say 14, 15, between the 14s and the 16s.
Okay.
I'll say. I was like 4. Like, are this? They're not like cavemen outside.
Yes, we're gonna party like we're cavemen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So anyway, that's pretty much like my knowledge. I just know that the musical is it's more like the book, and they just has Alan Menken's music. So it's not like Beauty and the Beast is like Disney's Beauty and the Beast, like on Broadway, and then this is more like The Hunchback of Notre Dame the musical with music by Alan Menken that might also be in the Disney version.
Yeah. That's
my understanding.
So, all that being said, you have two ends of the spectrum with this. Disney can either do straight up Lion King, like they did, where it's just, oh look, Hunchback of Notre Dame, but with real people, or Mulan, right? Because Mulan is going to be an entirely different film than what the original animated feature is. There's now, not to say that dear Lord, please don't take away the music from Hunchback. Don't you do it. Don't you dare do it. I understand why in Mulan they're taking away the songs.
Yeah, I don't think I don't want to see Hunchback as a musical, a live action one.
Really? Okay. All right.
So my personal take on it would be, I understand why they took out and why they changed Mulan so drastically, because it's such a cultural thing. I think if they took Hunchback and gave it like the Aladdin treatment, where and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I personally thought it was great.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, but I really liked. And I feel like my knowledge of Aladdin was so not minimal, but I could watch the movie and be like, oh, okay, I remember that reference, or I get this, and
See,
I know this song. And
that's my favorite Disney film, is
Gotcha.
Aladdin. So I was like,
so you thought it was kind of
you
butchered.
massacred my boy.
That's like my
there were-
sister-in-law has the same opinion too, Daniel. I get it.
Yeah.
I think there were enough changes to it to kind of give it its own feel while staying true to the story of Aladdin. So I think if they did something similar to that for the Hunchback take, I personally would be happy with that. I know it might not be the popular opinion, might not be the popular opinion of this group, might not be the world's popular opinion, but for me personally, I think I would enjoy that.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Oh, you're fine. I was gonna say, I think I like the music so much that I just want to hear it again, kind of a thing, or like I want to see it presented in a much grander scope that they can do with it. The thing is I haven't been wholly happy with the musicals thus far. So like Beauty and the Beast was like, it was good, but it was
I do not think so.
Yeah, I liked certain aspects of it. I basically liked anything with Gaston, and I liked most of the Beast stuff, especially Beast's own song.
Evermore?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually.
You already have If I Can't Love Her, which is a much better song, but that's my...
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. All right.
I could go off on...
Well, you are a music major.
Yes.
So I can understand why you are a little more perceptive and perhaps critical of music adaptations and
I'm
things.
very opinionated with musicals.
Yeah, and that's
okay.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
I personally am, as a stunt performer, I loved seeing all the action sequences and the way that people moved and stuff. Prince Ali, for example, in the live action version had so much going on, all the coordination that went into it. I may not be like a dance person per se, but as somebody who moves a lot for a living, that was something that I took into it. I enjoyed the color aspect of everything. I enjoyed, the big over the top production of stuff. That's my forte, and
Yeah.
that's what was drawn to me. Whereas music is your forte, and if it didn't click right with you, then it's totally justifiable for you to have your opinion based on things that and you study.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's not necessarily the just like the music. My biggest, I don't know, critique when it comes to those is how they serve the narrative. And usually, so like primarily as a musical, you're serving the narrative through music and song when your a plot point becomes too much for words. Like you need something more to explain that. And so my biggest thing is all the changes that have been made to the live adaptations from either the original animation or their stage musical counterparts. Primarily Beauty and the Beast, the stage Aladdin didn't do too hot, but I have not seen it. Is the, especially with Aladdin, not only being my favorite, is the they take away the narrative moments, like something that is used to set up a character and to have a payoff for it through the structure of the plot and what is going on and what leads to the choices that these characters are making. All of that got the reason I don't like it is all of that got undermined from the spectacle of it. Okay. And so, I'm a very Aristotelian when it comes to this, that it should be your plot first and then all the way at the bottom is your spectacle and stuff. And so as long as the spectacle is serving the narrative, like I'm cool with it. So that's what I'd be afraid that they would do with Hunchback, is that they might be like, we're going to get Andy Serkis to be Quasimodo because he's the best motion capture. And it's not saying Andy Serkis is a bad actor and not good at motion capture, but it's like that's more of a look at this amazing spectacle that we're going, or like Lion King. Yeah, that's another one. It's like, look how amazing and realistic we can make this look, and it made the musical and the story not work because of
let
how
me offer
realistic
you this.
it was.
Let me offer you this. Let's bring back Alan Menken, and let's pair him with Baz Luhrmann. What does that do to you?
Ooh,
what does that do?
That would be interesting. I love Baz Luhrmann's one of my favorite directors. So,
right. And so I see that in my head. I'm like, what if this flippin' looked like Moulin Rouge or something? What if this was like, it's just grand. It is. I want it to feel like a foreign film in some respects. I want it to be artistically interesting and just not what our American palate is necessarily used to or even could think of creating. And I want the music to still be there, but for the story to give us something more. So imagine if you could take the songs and make us think about them in different ways now, because the story is deeper and maybe more culturally relevant and appropriate to today, where the themes I think focused on are less about like, don't judge a book by its cover, we're all special, those kinds of like surface level things that Disney throws on to make something family friendly and appropriate. But like, if we could play on heavier themes that could potentially take Hunchback into a PG-13 realm, that might be a good talking point. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and it's like, I don't think Disney has found the formula on making a really fun, successful live action like movie musical for today. That's my biggest thing. Like, so I'm trying to think of like,
it's a fair point.
Your Lion King, your Aladdin, Mulan. Did you say Bambi?
No, B&B.
Oh, B&B.
But SNL did a beautiful skit one time. Oh gosh,
with The Rock.
With The Rock as Bambi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bambi.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That Vin Diesel was Thumper or whatever.
Yes.
So good.
Well, and even with I was gonna say with Little Mermaid coming up too. Like I don't think who's it? Melissa McCarthy as Ursula.
That's one of those substance things you were like. I personally, not that she won't do a good job, don't get me wrong, but I see that as we have a big name to play this role.
Yeah.
Kind of like you were talking about, let's get Andy Serkis in to do his mocap for.
Well, I was saying I would not want that to happen. Oh, yeah.
Right. And to me, that's kind of, again, nothing bad about Melissa McCarthy. I've seen a lot of her stuff. I think she's very talented, but
absolutely.
To me, that's, here's a Disney film with a big name. Now we have a big name to it, so people will watch. Same thing with Emma Watson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always thought that Emma Watson would be a really good Belle, and I just don't think it was. I don't honestly I think it was the processing on her voice and the direction that was given, because it looked like watching her, like when you see her act where she doesn't have any kind of, I want to say like limitations, like Harry Potter or Percy being a Wallflower, just like some bigger movies like that. It feels very organic, and her acting in that didn't feel as organic. And maybe it was because all of her scenes were with a guy in a giant gray mocap suit, on like a soundstage. But yeah, so I just don't think that they've found the right formula yet. Or maybe they're trying to focus too much on a formula, or even the live action Lady and the Tramp. They're like Lion King. They're like, oh, the animals were too photorealistic because if a lion's happy or sad on the outside, it's going to look exactly the same. You're not going to how do you show that? And so then they tried to redo that with Lady and the Tramp, where they were too lifelike or too human-like.
too animated.
Where they and it was like that uncanny valley level of animation. So it's like would I like to see a really good live action Hunchback? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I don't. And from the track record so far, it's like they're stabbing at all these different ways of doing things. Let's do a live action without the music. Let's do a live action. Cinderella is the best one so far. And I
haven't seen Cinderella in since it first came out, so I have to watch it again.
It's great.
But
I haven't seen it at all.
I wasn't a huge fan of it at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that just may be me at the time. I don't know. I'm very different now. You know, in the
give
way
it another watch. I think it's the best one. Again, it's just in the fact that it's artistic and serving the narrative while being fresh and original and paying homage to the original animation and the original story. I think it does it the best. The one I think that did the worst was Aladdin, and then Maleficent is in its own category, but we won't talk about that.
I've got multi-layered opinions on Maleficent.
Why we're getting a Maleficent sequel? Please, someone explain that to me.
Well, we already got it.
I know we're getting close to the end of time here, but I wanted to ask you guys if you had seen the Disney stage show, the live action Hunchback from years ago.
Yeah, I have.
I didn't get to see it in person. I've watched it on YouTube.
No, I didn't see it live. I saw it on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes.
I think that's so fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I wish that was still around. You know?
Yeah. Did you see it?
Oh, in the parks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did once. Only once, though. And I remember that the guy who played, is it Clopin is his name? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Clopin.
Yes. He had to hit that note. At least I was assuming he was hitting it for real. And I remember me and my brother talking about it. Then Bells of Notre Dame, and we're like, does that? Yeah, we're like, does he hit that? Does he hit that every show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get hired as a vocalist for Disney, you got to do it.
He was probably I don't know when the equity contract started with Disney, but he's probably.
But it was cool. It was neat in my mind.
Yeah.
But I was very small when I saw it, of course. So, but I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
Bring back the
one production of Jungle Book, I think. Like, jeez.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then they went to Tarzan Rocks.
I have friends that were in
Tarzan Rocks.
I know people from all of those shows. Yeah.
Bring back
Man,
the skateboarding gorillas.
I wish I had been around when Tarzan Rocks was around, because doing aerial work now, like, I would have loved to at least audition. Like, I don't know if I would have gotten it, but to at least have an opportunity to do more stuff like that, I felt like would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey, fun little fact though. I won't throw this in there, guys. Just bringing up auditions. Manny Patinkin actually was brought into audition for Quasimodo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I do know something happened with Quasimodo.
He talked about it. He said, I was in the auditioning for it. He says, I just told them flat out. He says it wasn't working. I said, guys, I can't do this. And he looked at them. He said, I can't do this. And then that was it. And then they went, okay. They went a whole different direction for Quasimodo.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say something happened where they it's like two people's voices singing. Like the actor, it's I don't know that I don't know I don't know
Yes.
the fact offhand, but it's like it's like a mix of two people singing because someone was like the guy who was the voice of him like was sick or something.
Yeah, they
I know
had
a
to
lot
bring.
of shows used to do stuff like. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say they had to bring in someone else. I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Jim Cummings was the singing voice of Scar for like the last 2 minutes of that song because Jeremy Irons is like such a heavy smoker, so it's like in he's like it's clear that they get, and then it goes into the Jim Cummings like it sounds like Pete singing. If you listen from like the end of Be Prepared, like from the original one, it sounds like a British Pete singing that song. You can like tell you can tell exactly when Jim Cummings comes in.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Well, I think we're at time, everybody.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful journey. Stay safe out there. Keep those voices heard. Keep fighting for what's right. We're not all going to be equal until we continue to fight for this. So appreciate you all.
Would say justice.
Justice. We love you guys. And thanks for joining us. So I've been Stefan.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Trask.
And signing out from Zombies to Zoinks. Sanctuary!
Out on the crest side